And welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch. I'm Randy Olson, your host, here on AreaSports.net. And the theme of our show today is called Like Father, Like Son. And we're going to have two guests on the show with us today. We're going to be talking to two well-known area high school athletes, former high school athletes, who both went to the same high school, both actually played basketball, high school basketball together. Both went on to college, got their degrees, and now both of them have actually become varsity high school basketball coaches. So it's kind of a neat story as they're following in their father's footsteps. Like father, like son. We're talking about Noah McElravy of Fairfield and Landon Zurliene of Fairfield. And Landon is first up on the show today to talk to us. And Landon, good to hear from you again. How's everything going?
Good. It's going well.
You are the head basketball coach of the South Central Cougars, and you've actually got your first year under your belt. And how do you think everything went for you last year in that first season?
We had a young team, so we had some learning experiences along the way. But even with our young team, we got to double-digit wins, which we felt like was a really big deal for us. And obviously, for myself, being a first-year coach, there was a lot to learn and a lot to learn on the fly. Kind of get thrown right into the fire. But I think overall, I look at the year as a success. We started 4 underclassmen and a junior for most of our season. So anytime you can, get those guys experience, it should lead to improvement in the years coming.
So that means you literally have everybody coming back then, right?
Yes. I want to say in our program this summer we had over 20 guys, and 13 of those were returners from last year, and then add in some incoming freshmen, and we actually had some kids that came back out to play that are going to be seniors. So we felt like our program's headed in the right direction. That's
great. And I'm sure you had a very busy month of June with those contact days, those official IHSA contact days, probably doing a lot of summer scrimmages and stuff. Talk about what you did this summer with your guys.
Yeah, so we did. We went about 4 days a week between open gyms and scrimmages. We played, funny enough, we played against Martinsville this summer, scrimmaged them.
That's cool.
A couple local schools. We went to Vandalia, we went to Flora, but we didn't do too many games just because I felt like, we need a lot of practice time to really kind of, keep building on what we worked on last year and just get everybody back in the gym. So we kind of blended the scrimmages with the practice time as well as lifting.
Yeah. And then you held a youth summer camp for younger aspiring basketball players, too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we held our youth camp. I believe it was they get to be with their friends in a basketball gym for a couple hours a day, and we get to do some competitions, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. At the beginning of the interview there, you said that, being your first year there as a head coach, you had a lot to learn. So reflecting back on that first year as a head coach there at South Central, talk about some of the things that you did learn. You learned about yourself, you learned about the team, you learned about coaching basketball, you learned about how to handle the officials, probably how to handle parents, fans, I'm sure a little bit of everything, didn't you?
Yeah, I think you learn a little bit of everything. I think kind of what you hit on, all those big points there, I think that stuff is kind of stuff you maybe have a good grasp on if you're going to be a head coach, I think it's more so the little things that you probably overlook that can make a big difference, whether it's, how to coordinate your bus times, how to, figure out exactly when you need to leave to get, kind of get in a routine, practice times, what kind of stretching, like just little things is I think what you learn the most that help your process of being a head coach so much easier. Handling the officials and stuff, I don't really, complain or argue with their calls. They are paid to ref the game, and that's kind of how I see it. And I think they know that. I don't have too much to say to them. Being an official myself for football, I kind of understand that, sometimes they make mistakes and the coach may not agree with it, but it just is what it is. But, yeah, I think, our parents are great, our fans are great, our administration's great. So it was a lot of learning the little things more so than the big things.
Mm-hmm. And with all those guys coming back from last year and the experience under their belt and the experience under your belt, I'm sure you're looking forward to this upcoming season and what you can do, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I felt after our last week of contact days, I felt like we were in a really good spot. I was pretty happy with how our summer wrapped up, and we still have things to learn and grow on, and we're always improving, but I think our guys should take the next step, and that's my hope for this next year.
Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, your dad is Justin Townsend, the head football coach and athletic director at Fairfield. He's been the football coach of the Mules for 25 years. You played for him, played football for him there at Fairfield. You were the quarterback. And ironically, you and your dad both went to McElravy University, too, which is really cool. And recently he was inducted into the Hall of Fame over there, which I'm sure you're very proud of him.
Yep. Yeah, he was, and he's had a really good year for himself. He got inducted into the Hall of Fame at McElravy, and then he was also inducted into the Illinois High School Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame for his career he's had. So yeah, he's a great, obviously dad, but he's also a great mentor to look up to when it comes to coaching. Sure,
absolutely. I remember when I talked to you last year, you told me that it was probably your junior or senior year you started really getting that itch to coach, and you just kind of knew that you were going to end up coaching, whether it was football or basketball or what it was. And some have said that if South Central had a football team, that you'd probably be coaching football too, but They don't, so you're coaching basketball. But obviously you've got a lot of interest and experience in both sports.
Yeah, and I still help out with the Mules anytime I can, and especially on game nights and in the summer. Obviously, I have a pretty vested interest in that program, being around it my whole life, and I always want to see it do well. So, yeah, I think I knew pretty early on that coaching was my thing. I think I would be lost if I wasn't around sports. It's just what I love, and I like the high school level. I think it's a great mix of competition as well as building these young men to become men.
Mm-hmm. One thing that's going to change this year, Landon, is the introduction to the shot clock. It's going to be mandatory this year in all IHSA high school contests. Do you think that that's going to impact your style of play at all there at South Central, and are you guys ready for that?
Yeah, I think we're ready. For me, coming fresh out of playing college basketball to coaching, it honestly took me a while to get used to not having a shot clock.
Yeah.
Obviously, with playing with it now at the college level, we get 30-second shot clock. Now it'll be 35. But I think for me personally and my team, I don't think it'll be too big of an adjustment. At least it hasn't been when we've used it in practice and our scrimmages this summer. I think, you'll see a lot of different style plays with teams, get creative and things like that. I think it's a great thing for Illinois high school basketball to have the shot clock. I'm a supporter of it, and I think it'll be good. I think you'll see the level of play improve because it's going to make players have to work on their skills more, and coaches have to get the ball in the right people's hands. So I think the quality of play will improve.
Some have suggested that maybe it'll ramp up the defense a little bit too, because teams will know that defensively they just have to stop that other team for 35 seconds, and if they can do that and they don't get a successful shot off, it's a turnover. So that might be interesting, too, to see how that plays out.
I would agree with that. I think you'll see maybe, a lot more pressing, or even like a token press where you're maybe not trying to turn them over, but slow them down and get their offense started at 27 seconds or something like that. I think you'll see a lot of that. Then obviously, you can only, maximum you have to guard is 35 seconds unless there's offensive rebound and the clock resets to 20 or whatever it is. But so I think you'll see maybe some more pressure-style defenses, and I would agree with that. Yeah, okay.
In addition to being the head basketball coach there at South Central, I assume, are you still the middle school athletic director, too? Is that still another one of your roles there, besides PE and things?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, and that's all going real well? Great.
Oh, yeah. I enjoy being the AD.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your conference there that South Central Cougars play in. That's a tough conference, a National Trail Conference. You got some stiff competition in that league, don't you?
Yeah, it's a really good 1A conference. Before I got there, I wasn't super familiar with it, obviously being at Fairfield, and, you're kind of in that area of the state, and you play some 2A, 3A schools. But, yeah, I mean, it's a really good conference, both basketball and baseball on the boys' side. I would put it up there with any conference year in and year out in 1A. I think there's some teams that reload every year, historically have been very successful. And there's not a night, whether you're at the top of the conference or at the bottom of the conference, that you can look at as an off night, because anybody can get you at any time.
I mentioned we're also going to be talking to Noah McElravy here later in the show, and he's the head coach now and going to be in his first year as head coach at Martinsville, although he was a JV coach there last year, so he's still somewhat familiar with the program. Any chance of Martinsville and South Central playing each other on the regular season schedule this upcoming year or in future years?
We actually played last year. And,
you did?
We came out on top.
Okay.
Yeah, we came out on top. Okay. And so, we'll play again this year. Last year we were at Martinsville. I think we won by 10 points, and then we'll be at South Central this year sometime and
all right.
Before Christmas break. So
well, a lot of Fairfield people ought to have some interest in that game, I'd say.
Yeah, there was last year, so I would think that'll be the case.
Yeah, and for those who don't know it, you and Noah McElravy both played together for the Fairfield Mules back in the day. In fact, I think you guys were seniors during that COVID season, were you not, in 2021? Is that right?
Yep, we went to school together from kindergarten all the way through senior year. Mm-hmm. You know, we won a state championship together there at Center Street,
right.
Our 8th grade year, undefeated team, and then we had a lot of success in high school. Our teams did, and I believe that would have been the same way our senior year, but, you know, COVID, we didn't get to have a postseason.
Right.
I believe we finished that season 17-2.
Yes.
And one of those losses was to 3A Centralia.
Right.
So,
we were there and broadcast that game. I remember that one.
Right.
Yeah,
that was our last game, and that was obviously that's a tough pill to swallow, and you feel like you've got a really good team, and you don't get to have a postseason. But you know, it seems like forever ago now, but.
Yeah,
you know, it's at certain times it doesn't seem like that long ago.
Yeah, 17-2 in the COVID season, no tournaments, no postseason. Who knows what you guys would have done that year? Because the year prior to that, excuse me, you were 28-5, and then I think when you guys were sophomores, you were 32-3. So there was a streak there of a lot of wins for the Mules basketball program in that 3-year period.
Yeah, absolutely. We had off the top of my head, I think that totals to only 10 losses in 3 years.
Yeah.
And I know that conference-wise we were 30-0. And then football as well, we set that conference win streak at 36 games and had a lot of good seasons there where we only went undefeated or only lost one game. So our time there, we had a lot of success. So
yeah, definitely. 77-10. I just did the math on the basketball. Yeah, 77-10. But as you said, football has had a great run there at Fairfield as well. Well, that's awesome. Hey, anything else you want to add about South Central or about what you guys are doing or anything like that for our listeners out there?
No, I'm excited for this upcoming year. I think, we're going to take steps in the right direction, and, we'll see how the season goes.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time, Landon. It's good to talk to you, and best of luck, and we look forward to watching your team play this upcoming year, okay?
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you. That's Landon Zurliene. He is the head basketball coach at South Central High School, and we'll be back and talk with head coach Noah McElravy of Martinsville in just a moment.